Hi guys! I got a comment from a viewer last week and he asked if I would talk about how to actually self-term from the Disney College Program. For those of you who just stumbled upon my channel, I self-termed from the Disney College Program last year in the fall. The Disney College Program is a paid internship. If you don't know about it, you can look it up. Today I want to kind of guide you guys through the steps of how you self-term. There are two main ways, as far as I'm concerned, about how to do this. So the first option is to self-term at your workplace. So what you can do is you can go to your location, talk to one of your leaders, and tell them that you're self-terming. And what you'll have to do is gather your costumes, all of the costumes that you have rented, and return them to your location. And then I believe you have to give your leader your ID card so that you cannot get back into the parks, and you also will not be able to get back into your work area. And then you will need to go home, pack up your stuff, and be out of there by 11 a.m. the next morning. Then you need to go to housing and give them your house key. At this point, you will no longer be able to get into any of the Disney properties, including your housing, so make sure that you are completely packed up, that everything is returned, and then you are free to go. This first option is a little bit more professional because you are going up to your manager and you're explaining directly to them that you are leaving, and you can give them reasons, and you can also choose not to give them reasons. It is your right to keep it private if you need to. So if you want, you can tell them why you are leaving. Now your second option is to go to housing to self-term. This is a little bit more private. It's a little bit less daunting because you don't have to face your managers, but what you have to do is to go up to housing, tell them that you want to self-term. They will also probably ask you why you want to self-term, and then you will give them your ID. Then they will have you go back to your apartment. You'll need to pack everything up. Again, you need to leave by the following morning at 11 a.m. And when you leave, you need to either hand in your key to the housing or to the security as you leave the property. This is the option that I chose to do, and the reason I chose to do this option was because I didn't feel comfortable going up to my managers and telling them I was going to self-term. It wasn't that my managers were bad or anything. I actually thought they were really great. They were very nice people, but I had gone to them a couple times previously to tell them that I was thinking about self-terming. And when I did so, they kind of brushed off the idea and tried to tell me like, oh, you should probably, wait a few more weeks, see what you think about the program. Then if you still feel like self-terming, then you can do that. But I was set on self-terming, and the reason I did was because I had severe anxiety. I was having panic attacks, and I knew that being there was really bad for my health, so I needed to get out of there. So I didn't really want to go back to my workplace and tell my managers that I was leaving for sure, because I was afraid that they might change my mind and make me want to stay longer. So what I did was, while I was there, I had 2 days off every week, and those 2 days off were usually in a row. So the week that I decided to self-term, I worked until my break day, and on the last day of my work, I knew I was self-terming, so I brought all of my costumes with me and returned them. And then that night I went to Magic Kingdom and I spent my time at the parks for the last time because I still had my ID and I still had my keys. At this point, I hadn't announced that I was self-terming to anybody except for my family and my roommate. So I spent some time at the park, and then the next day was my first day of my break. So for that day, I spent the entire day packing up all of my stuff into my tiny Jetta. The next day, I finished packing up. I completely cleared out of the apartment, and then I went to housing and I told them I was self-terming. I told them I was ready to go, and I gave them my ID and my key, and then I drove off property. And it's really as simple as it sounds. The lady at housing was super, super nice. She was very understanding. I was actually very nervous when I went up to her because I thought that I was going to be judged, that I would be coaxed into staying, but the lady was very, very supportive and nice. So there's nothing to be scared of if you decide to self-term, especially if it's for health reasons or for personal family reasons or whatever, because you have a legitimate reason for leaving. Now, if you don't have a health problem and you're just totally tired of the program and you want to go home, maybe you're homesick, that's also totally fine. I would say really give it a good go if you are only homesick, because after a couple months you might actually start to enjoy your time there and the homesickness might wear off a little bit. So try to make as many friends as you can while you're there. Give it a good run, but if you just absolutely cannot go through with it, go ahead and consider self-terming. So those are the two options for self-terming. You can go to your leader or you can term at housing. And going to your leader to term is considered a little bit more professional, but if you really want to avoid that situation of going up to your leader, then I highly recommend going to housing because they are very understanding. It's a very, very simple process. I know I said it earlier in the video, but just as a reminder, you must be out of your apartment by 11 a.m. the next morning if you self-term. So make sure that when you're planning to self-term, you give yourself enough time to pack up everything, to make traveling arrangements, and just be smart when you decide to self-term, because you don't want to end up giving yourself more stress and more trouble when you do so. If you guys want to know why I self-termed and what I think about the Disney College program, if I recommend it, then go check out these videos that I'm going to link down below in the description, and I will also put them at the end of this video so you can click on them, you can find them really easily and get all of your answers. I hope this video is helpful for all of you who are interested in self-terming. If you have any more questions, please comment down below because I would love to help out. It's been like 8 months since I actually did the program, and I was only there for a month, so I feel like all of the memories and the information is quickly leaving my mind. So if you have questions, now is the time to ask. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you guys next time.